everyone. This podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
This fall,
Here she comes.
there's a new name for adventure on television. Brisco County Jr.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to the adventures of two guys watching the adventures of Brisco County Jr. because this other guy made us. Yeah.
Woohoo!
That's what this is.
It is.
This is our second episode.
Yeah.
For people who are wondering what's going on. Well, fuck those people.
Yeah, this isn't for you. This is for Aaron Burr.
Yeah, this is Aaron Burr. This is presented by Aaron Burr, Sir, is his screen name.
Aaron Burr, Sir.
I don't think it's actually Aaron Burr.
No, I don't think it's the reanimated corpse of Aaron Burr.
No.
He is one of our lovely patrons on patreon.com, and we offer a tier where if you donate a certain amount, you get to get your own podcast about whatever you want.
Podcast just for you. He has chosen ahead of time to have us release these to everyone, which is why we are addressing more everybody. But it's really for him.
Yeah.
And
It's for Aaron Burr, sir. So you guys are trespassing.
Yeah, you're getting a peek. You're looking in the window
trespassing.
of Aaron Burr's house.
You're interlopers.
Yeah. And so
you should feel dirty.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy the fucking view, you perverts.
Yeah, goddamn. Peeping
fuck is wrong with
Toms, you.
So maybe let's talk about the podcast, what it is real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Which is that Brisco County Jr., if you're not aware, is a 1993 Fox TV show that came before the X-Files.
It was the lead into the X-Files.
Yep, starring Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
It is a Western slash sci-fi made by the writers of Last Crusade.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Inspired by, you could say.
Very much so.
And
it's very evident.
Yes. On the previous episode, we covered episodes 1 through 6, I believe.
In a kind of jack-legged order because the certain service we were using to watch it had them all mislabeled and out of order.
Yes. If you want to watch them, they're on Amazon, the DVDs, for like $20. Otherwise, you kind of have to search the internet for them. It's hard to find.
It is hard to find.
So
the DVDs came out in 2006. I don't believe they're currently still in print.
Yes.
But
so while I do encourage people to keep watching them and buy the DVDs and make it last, give Fox a reason to make a Blu-ray for Brisco County.
Sure.
Keep it going. Keep it alive. We can't lose this to time.
No.
You can also just listen to this podcast and we'll tell you what's happening.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
Yeah.
I went ahead and got the DVDs because I just found I was not enjoying my viewing experience trying to watch it online.
Yeah, it's tricky online.
Yeah.
So yeah, today we're going through episodes 7 through I think 13 through 7 through 13, which is going to be the halfway point. Because this was only one season of a show.
They got a lot of episodes. There are 27 episodes.
Yes. Which is like... That's like
quite an achievement.
Yeah, that's like the standard like Star Trek or X-Files number of episodes.
I think there were more like 22, but...
Oh, maybe, yeah.
This seems like a lot. But
yeah. Maybe they did maybe they knew they got canceled and like Fox was like, you get a couple episodes to wrap it up. Or something like that.
Maybe.
Which I don't know if they did that at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you wanna dive into this?
Yes.
All right, let's dive.
I would love to dive into this. I want to reiterate, Aaron Burr, sir, I purchased this DVD
for you
to make this possible.
Yeah, I think we said this in the last episode. Aaron Burr's been with us for a while, so like he was like, I want you to watch 27 episodes of Brisco County. We were like, okay, but. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's real hard, Aaron.
There's going to be some...
There's going to be some gaps in like us getting it. Well, it's maybe not gaps, but it takes time to watch every week or so,
Yeah.
7 hours of Brisco County.
We're probably gonna put some stipulations on future patrons.
Oh, I think we already did.
Oh, we already did.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this. We I said like podcast within reason.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this.
We're bending the rules for old Aaron Burse
Yeah.
here.
Well, we're not bending the rules. We just kind of make the rules. Like someone said, we want you to do this, and it was like, okay, like obviously, if someone was like, I want you to do a podcast where you guys like just like look at each other's penises for an hour, we can be like, no,
Yeah.
we're not going to do that.
We're not gonna do that one.
We do that on our own anyway, without.
That's
podcast.
just for us.
That's just
not
guy
for you
time.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just cool guys hanging out, kicking back.
Yeah.
That's cool guy time.
Just letting the breeze, let the breeze.
That's
take you.
friend time.
Yep.
All right, let's get into this.
This first episode is called Pirates,
Yes,
which already when I saw the title, I was like, oh, good.
with an exclamation point.
Pirates! And it begins with a little boy being like, Pirates!
Yeah. And also, I'm dying.
Yeah, is that the kid from Malcolm in the Middle?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to remember what this fucking episode is.
Well, it's the over, with a couple of, I don't know, quote unquote monster of the week episodes, like the overarching
Yes.
story of this season that ended up being the entire series of Brisco County Jr. is that he is hunting down the members of the John Bly gang one by one.
Right, which is this is a procedural because every new episode is some kooky, wacky like gimmick.
Yes.
But they manage to tie it in to John Bly every time, which I keep being like, how many fucking members of this gang does
There's a
he
lot.
have? It's like, what
And
is
there
it?
was
It's like
also-
Mega Man, where it's all these mini
yeah,
bosses.
it's like
that
a
he
Metal
has to
Man, yeah.
fight.
And not only does he have about 36 members of his gang,
Yeah.
he also had a pirate captain as a member of his gang.
He just had that one
This guy is a pirate captain.
on land. He starts on sea.
You're
and
right.
goes-
He was run out of the sea, and now he is still dressed like a pirate.
Yep.
Still flying the Jolly Roger from his wagon. He
Yep.
is pirating people's wagons.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I don't remember his name.
Oh, who knows?
It was Lacutte, I think was his
Yeah,
name,
something
Captain
like that.
Lacutte. He is 10,000% the Wishmaster.
Yeah. Okay.
Did
Did you look it up?
I did. He is the Wishmaster.
This show has a lot of
cameos. There's a lot of
like
cameos in this podcast episode.
Right.
Because this next stretch of episodes has a lot of like, what the fuck is this person doing in this show?
Right.
I mean, I wasn't stunned by the Wishmaster's appearance. Like I saw him and I was like, yeah, this is about right for the Wishmaster.
So this is all right. This is coming back to me because it's the little boy gets chased with his father,
Uh-huh.
and then they call upon Brisco, and the boy gets sick, and they need the medicine.
Boy is sick.
He's sick.
He begins sick.
The pirate has the medicine, and
Yes.
Brisco goes, and the boy is like, "I wish you were my dad," and
Yeah.
the dad's pissed. And then Brisco's like, "No, you don't, because my dad got gunned down. You don't want a dad like me," which is good.
It's a good lesson for that kid.
Yeah.
So we learned that
And the mom super wants to fuck Brisco.
every mom is DTF.
Yeah.
Every woman that meets Brisco is DTF.
Yes.
Oh
yeah. Sorry. To skip ahead a little bit, there's an episode somewhere down this where like a cop is like asking if someone's seen him, and he's just like, "Have you seen this guy? Extremely handsome,
Yeah.
going this way." And it was like, man, everybody wants to fuck Brisco.
Everybody wants just to be deep in Brisco County.
Yeah. Deep in Brisco County.
See, it's like a geographical joke as well.
That's solid.
So Captain Lacutte has been basically raiding this town. Like they don't have any supplies or anything because he's stolen it all. So that's
Right.
why there's no medicine for the kid.
He
So
walks-
Brisco's like, I'm gonna get this fucker.
Right. The captain, this I thought was odd, walks into the town and goes to the bar and asks for whiskey and drinks it and goes, "What is this, kerosene? Give me something better." And it was like, wouldn't a gruff cowboy be the opposite of that? Like, "I don't want your fruity city drink." Like, it's weird to have a bad guy be like, "Ew, this whiskey. It's not, it's gross. It's too strong." Like, it
Yeah.
was just like, it seems like it should be the opposite, but whatever.
Right. Like you think he should be asking for the rot gut stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like not, yeah.
But it's okay. I mean, like, he has refined taste. That's cool.
Yeah, actually, it's not even him. It's like one of his underlings.
It's not him?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's because they go in there and they start grabbing on a waitress. So Brisco and Bowler beat everyone up.
Okay. My other note was that everybody's very casual about the fact that they're pirates on land.
Nobody bats a fucking eye that this guy is just a full-on pirate.
Yeah.
He's just dressed as a pirate.
And no one's like, isn't this fucked up?
Like, his home base is a cave where he's just put all of his boat stuff, like his mast and his sails and his wheel. It's all in there.
It's all in there. It's like it's like somewhere the Goonies
Yeah, it's
would
it's One Eye Willie, yeah.
Yeah.
The Goonies are going to find this fucking thing in 100 years.
Yeah, this was also about the time I realized, are they reusing the same cave sets?
Yes.
Yeah, because every bad guy in this show lives in a cave. And it's like, how fucking convenient.
Yeah, how many caves are there?
Yeah, and it's like a Star Trek cave where it's like, oh, that's not stone.
With like red lighting.
Yeah.
It's very much a Star Trek cave.
Yeah.
So can't stress enough that this guy's a full-on pirate.
Fucking pirate.
They get into a Captain Blood pirate fight on the deck of his cave ship, where Brisco swoops in on a rope and like kicks people, and like they have Bowler tied to a wheel and they're whipping him, and that was uncomfortable.
Yep. We've sort of talked about this. Is he Bowler's the only black character of this?
Yeah,
and it's like the
much.
90s, and they don't treat it like a period western.
Mm-mm.
So it's a weird situation where
nobody.
Like,
I mean, there's
like the only black guy, and it's the Wild West, and it's like that would suck for you.
There's been there was a couple episodes in the previous podcast episode that we did. There's been other black characters.
Oh, there has been. That lady was fucking awesome.
The guy whose brother got killed by Brett Bones.
Yeah,
and he invented denim.
Right.
So the show doesn't address race at all.
No, it doesn't address violence at all. It's a very clean.
Yeah, so it's both.
I don't want to say clean. It's a very simple.
Yeah,
like where it's like we're not gonna go into anything that's at all complicated to explain to your kids.
Right. So it's both. It's both good and bad.
Right.
Just bad because it leads to situations where like Bowler's getting whipped, and it's like, this is a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's good in the 90s sense where they're like, let's fucking cast a diverse group of fucking actors
and you know,
to be in this show about a Western. That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely like ignoring the historical context of it.
I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, there's like problems will arise in those things. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, the ninjas were problematic from the previous.
That was the time.
Yeah.
They do make several racist Chinese jokes in the pilot episode.
Okay.
Captain Lecut likes to make people walk the plank into quicksand.
Right. This was the quicksand,
mm-hmm.
which, by the way, that set, I don't think it is, but it looked exactly like the quicksand from Blazing Saddles, like that mound behind it and stuff. Because I grew up watching that, and I was like, that looks like fucking... But it's not. I tried to Google it.
Oh, okay.
But actually, maybe because I could see a studio having just like a quicksand set until like the 90s, and then they're like, look, we really don't need the quicksand set anymore.
I feel like it's probably pretty easy. You just kind of...
You just fill a fucking pool with...
You just fill a pool with like oatmeal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I come to think of it, they wouldn't have like a regular set because that would just get real gross.
No, you would drain it after you were done.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else happens in this episode.
All right.
Just the full on pirate
Blackbeard is in this.
What now?
Isn't Blackbeard in this? Isn't there a Blackbeard character? I remember he looked like Amish Jack Black. That's why I remember there's like a Blackbeard character in this. Do you not remember?
He's the captain, isn't he? Don't they call him like Blackbeard Lecut?
Oh, okay, that's what it is. I had a note that just says Blackbeard looks like Amish Jack Black. You're right. That's the villain is Blackbeard Lecut.
Yeah,
okay.
And Amish Jack Black is a way to describe Wishmaster.
Yes. I had one more note because this was something Aaron Burr mentioned when he was asking us about doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Or sorry, demanding that we do this podcast. Right. Is how does this compare to other Western things, and this was the moment I noticed that Comet the horse, which the whole thing is Brisco has like conversations with Comet. It's a regular bit.
Yeah.
He might be losing his mind.
But the horse is also super smart.
Exactly. And this is when I realized that Comet is kind of a Red Dead Redemption 2 horse. Like it follows him all the, like if he ends up on a train, it'll run alongside the train.
Yeah.
It'll spawn out of nowhere.
It just respawns.
Yeah, he'll just be like Comet, and Comet will come out of the woods.
Yeah, exactly. He just he presses up on the D-pad or whatever to whistle for Comet, and Comet disappears.
Exactly.
We were also supposed to address the coming thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know if there was one in this.
LeCut has a picture of a modern warship. Like that's what he's going to ransom Brisco to get $1 million from his employers to build his warship.
Right. The coming thing, for people who haven't watched Brisco, it's like what Brisco is upset. He even says at one point, like, I'm into the coming thing.
He says it constantly.
Yeah, which sounds like it's like the thing from Fantastic Four, but coming.
Right. The ejaculating rock man.
Yes. The ejaculating
It's clobbering time.
Yes. Oh, of course. Of course, it was right there. So it was cathartic.
We nailed it.
So yeah, every episode has some like ridiculous, like Brisco keeps predicting exactly.
He's a
technology.
futurist.
He's a futurist, but
like, yeah.
unlike most futurists, he's like completely right.
He's 1,000% right all the time. Yeah. So yeah, they have. I mean, they already had iron warships at this point. You know, the Monitor and the Merrimack were famously. And this show takes place in 1899, but he draws like a kind of modern looking like destroyer.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess that's the thing in this one. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. Is that it for this episode?
Pretty much. It's another rare instance of the bad guy dying, because Brisco doesn't kill anyone. If you notice.
Yeah, you're right. He tries to save him, but he fucking drowns in quicksand.
Yeah,
that quicksand stuff is dark.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty dark. Like the Wishmaster tries to drag Brisco into the quicksand with him, even though Brisco's trying to pull him out, and then Bowler comes up and is pulling on Brisco. It's a whole thing. Yep.
I always think about quicksand like that when they go under and then they're like talking next to the quicksand. I always think like after a minute, it's like, he might still be dying in there. Like,
he's absolutely still dying.
Like,
in there.
I know they can't do anything about it, but maybe like go away from the quicksand. Like, I don't want the last thing I hear to be like my enemies having a fun like quip while like muffled in my own demise. Yep. Like, no, it's dark.
Yeah,
it's real dark.
Pretty dark.
All right, you want to do the next one?
Yeah,
the next one is Senior Spirit.
Okay. This episode was stunning.
Yeah, I don't have much notes for this because I just started watching it and I forgot to take notes.
We mentioned the horse just spawning.
Yep.
Brisco's dead father just appears. Like he just walks out of the trees and a UFO sound effect plays.
Fucking amazing.
It is. I stopped everything I was doing when that happened.
I knew the name of this episode, and I was like, Senior Spirit? Like, is this about college or high school or like what's going on? And then he's just like, oh, Senior Spirit.
It's just his father's ghost.
Brisco County Senior, played by what's his name?
R. Lee Ermey.
Yeah. Which I had also looked him when I first realized he was in this, because he's in like the first episode and you don't recognize it at first, or I didn't.
Yeah.
And I looked it up and I saw he was credited for 5 episodes and I was like, what the fuck he dies in the first episode. What is he going to do? And when he showed up, because I assumed it was fucking flashbacks.
Yeah.
And then he shows up as a ghost and it's like, are you serious? Oh my god.
This is what show this is? Oh boy.
Because we should explain that there's this orb, and the orb is supernatural or science. It's supposed to be sort of science. It looks like a piece of scientific equipment.
Yeah.
But it seems to have some real fucking supernatural things. It brings back the dead.
Mm-hmm. Gives people super strength, and it also turns people to dust.
Yep. And it also, I think it's why he can see his dead father, right? In this episode?
Probably. They don't quite get into it. And then in a later episode, when MC Gainey comes back as Big Smith.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's in this stretch of episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get to that when we get to that. So this episode is about John Bly appears and kidnaps this child and wants Brisco to hand over a piece of the orb, which was in his father's personal effects.
This is an orb episode. The way the X-Files has like the conspiracy episodes.
Yeah, this is an orbisode.
This is an orbisode. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's ransoming this kid for this rod that came out of the orb. That sounds amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
And his fucking dead dad appears and just starts talking to him.
Fuck up. It was shocking.
Yeah, it was really something.
It was shocking for many reasons. And then they just have like back and forth conversations and little quips and shit with each other.
The conversations are brief. Like he's not just kind of hanging out.
Right.
That's
a hard episode because I didn't fucking take any notes because I was so enamored with the fucking episode.
Yeah, it's
I don't even
good.
remember what the coming thing is. I just remember orb heavy.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it's
and he start writing these down.
I mean I've been taking notes, but again that fucking episode it just
there may not have been one specifically. It might have just been the orb.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's always something that we could miss. There's always little things. Later, there's one that's my favorite one. That
is it when Bowler invents television?
Wait, did I miss Bowler inventing television?
You may have missed Bowler inventing television.
Jesus fucking Christ.
All right. So he tracks Bly to this house that has like two old people as decoy lookouts.
Oh yeah,
and there's like his hideout cave is beneath it.
Right.
So he gives John Bly gets the piece of the orb and completes it, and it like sucks one of his guys into another dimension.
Oh my god, it absolutely does.
It's pretty gnarly. And then Brisco sets off a smoke bomb, and he can't see the bad guys. And his dad's ghost tells him to believe in himself, so he just shoots blindly into the smoke.
I remember now.
And hits one of the thugs and doesn't hit the kidnapped child, and everybody feels good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of kidnapped or child and children in danger. I
right, like last episode.
Yeah,
that kid was totally in danger.
Yeah, he was in bed danger. He was different kind of danger.
Danger bed.
Yeah,
for
danger
sure.
bed.
For sure.
Man.
Yeah, and then his dad's ghost, like he said, he tells him a little bit about the orb.
I love the orb. It reminds me of
pretty sweet.
There's a Space Ghost Coast to Coast episode where I think it's the one where they all accidentally inhale gas and they're just all high for the episode because they had Busta Rhymes on and he was visibly high. Mm-hmm. So they matched it. But there's a line from that where fucking, why can't I think of his name? The green one. There's Zorak. Brack.
Moltar.
Oh, no, it is Zorak. Moltar's the other one. Zorak is hiding. This is a long fucking way of getting to this. He's hiding in like a pipe, and Space Ghost goes, "Did you speak with the orb?" And so that's what I constantly am reminded of.
Did you speak with the orb?
And I'm really hoping that I want that to be a Brisco reference so bad, even though it isn't.
Yeah, his dad mentions that he didn't know what the orb piece was when he took it from Bly when he arrested him. And then he's like, but you know what it is now? He's like, yeah, I know what it is. It's like, can you tell me what it is? Like, no, I'm not allowed to tell you.
Yeah, he's just like, the writers won't let me. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Man, yeah, and he'll be back, right? He'll be back in the spirit
for sure,
form.
Yeah.
So excited for that. I hope he like figures out how to interact with the world like in Ghost and like saves the day.
Yeah, and figures out how to kill Tony Goldwyn with a window.
Yeah. I want exactly that.
Spoilers for Ghost.
Spoilers for Ghost and for Brisco County
and
Jr.
for Brisco County Jr.
All right.
Yeah, what's the next episode?
Brisco for the defense. I enjoyed this one.
This episode is amazing.
This is a courtroom drama.
So Brisco is a lawyer technically. He was a law student at Harvard, and he's visiting his friend Doc somebody. It's his doctor friend. Dr. Matt. His name's Matt.
Yeah, I just remember he calls him Brisk.
Brisk, yeah.
which is a good nickname.
Yeah, it was a nickname that Socrates actually came up with a few episodes ago.
Which he calls him Sock, I noticed. Brisco calls Sock, calls him Sock,
yeah,
which is not a good nickname.
No, I went to high school with a kid named Socrates, and we all called him Sock.
You called him Sock?
Mm-hmm.
Who's naming their kids Socrates?
The Greeks.
Really? Is this I don't want to make fun of it then. Is this like a common, is this like a
I don't
John
know. I don't
Smith
know that
situation?
it's common, but like.
Oh, because that's awesome.
Yeah.
If the Greeks, if this is like their like Paul or, well, David, like, if like, that's way better than whatever my heritage is.
Yeah. My stupid heritage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway. So, well,
it's a courtroom. He's
yes,
wanted,
a courtroom drama. Yeah.
He I like that. I don't think they had a courtroom set because it takes place in the saloon, and they're just sort of like,
They 1,000% didn't have a courtroom.
yeah,
set.
and they say something. This actually,
No, wait, they do. They did in the pilot. Because remember,
yeah.
he and Bowler get arrested.
but they don't seem all right. Sorry, just to go back a little bit. There's a part in the pirate one where the doctor's really young, and they're like, "Aren't you young to be a doctor?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then it never comes up. And I kept thinking, like, what, did they just accidentally cast a young guy and was like, no one will believe it? This is the same way where they walk into the saloon and they're like, hey, what's with this? It's not a courtroom. And they're like, courtroom's being painted. And they're like, all right. And they move on. And it's just like, that's not a plot point. That's,
it must have just been what they had that week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's him defending. All right. The murder. Let's see if I remember. He's the doctor. He has the assistant who's really into Brisco, which I was really happy because, spoilers, she did it.
She helped.
And it was one of those procedural things where they're just like, here's all the regular characters and here's a new person.
It's like an episode
they
of
did it.
It's like
They're
an
bad.
episode of Matlock.
Yeah.
Like what happens is Brisco is visiting his friend Matt, who's like freaked out, and he's like, no, I'm in trouble, you got to help me. And then this posse shows up, led by the sheriff, who I fucking loved.
The sheriff was great.
The sheriff was amazing.
He was, oh my God.
I should have looked at who the actor was.
Yeah.
The posse comes and arrests Matt. It turns out that he's wanted for murdering this local
he's like the town asshole who owns everything, which I think a lot of I know I had lived in a town with one of these.
Yeah, he's the town. He's basically like the Al Swearingen of the town.
Yeah.
And he's just recently been murdered, and Matt is on trial for it, and he hires Brisco as his lawyer, even though Brisco hasn't practiced law in like 5 years.
Yeah, and has no idea what the case is.
No idea what the case is, yeah. So, there's a lot in this episode, but it's basically it is literally like an episode of Matlock. Like,
yeah,
the Adventures of Brisco County Jr. comes to an abrupt halt to do a procedural courtroom drama.
Yeah, which I was so ready for. I was just
pretty
like,
rad.
This is great.
It was pretty rad.
It's the wife. They go to hang him, and the wife of the guy who died stops it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to see justice. And then it comes out that she was secretly having an affair.
Right, yeah, they were
with
in
the
love.
doctor. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then it's the gun that's used to kill him is her gun. So you think like, oh, okay, so she killed him or it was an affair. And then you find out in his will that like he suspected she was having an affair. So it's all lining up towards this. And the reveal, thanks to Brisco pretty much inventing fingerprinting.
Yeah.
He references a book on it. The coming thing in this is microscopes and projectors. It's a project
and fingerprinting.
He does like a classroom presentation, like the projector screens that we used to have, where you put the little clear thing on the thing.
Yeah.
Showing fingerprints, and the court allows it, which is insane. Because he's just like, may I have your fingerprint? And like takes a fingerprint from it's the fingerprint
judge is
on the
pretty
gun,
chill.
on the bullet. Yeah, the judge he went
lets
to Yale. That was the
The judge lets a lot slide.
But he's like, yeah. And so he conducts the experiment in the court.
Yeah.
Lifts the print off the bullet, takes it off of the accused, and shows that they don't match.
Yeah, Matt's fingerprint doesn't match the
To which I say, like, well, what if he used another finger? But no one questions it. The court is just like, oh, ooh, like, because it's just their thumbprints.
Yeah, he says, like, I don't know. I mean, you can.
If it was a real court, like if I were prosecuting, I'd be like, well, do his other fingers, you fucks.
But you know what print it is.
But he doesn't. Because he says, like, oh, he left his thumbprint on the bullet.
He says it's his right thumb.
Yeah, but how do we know that?
You know it in modern fingerprint
Yes, but
analysis.
how do they know it?
Oh, because it's magic.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Like-
is he's inventing fingerprinting.
Yeah, he's inventing
So,
it.
like, it's like if I were in court and I was like, I have this special box, and if I put the hair of this person in
Yeah.
it, if it burns white, that means they didn't do it. And everybody's like, oh, okay, let's accept
Ooh, it's
this.
fascinating new technology.
Yeah, it's
Think
that.
of what
Like,
this will do
everybody
for the
just
world.
Believes Brisco.
Yeah.
And then he matches the woman's... Wait, no, he matches the victim's thumbprint.
Yeah, he shot
And it's
himself.
revealed that he shot himself.
to frame, because the twist is the guy was dying of a congenital heart disease,
Right.
And he knew he only had like a month to live, so he shoots himself specifically to frame Matt because he's angry about the affair,
Right.
and he also screwed over some other people in town, which is like how Brisco figured it out. Like he deliberately infects the sheriff's cattle with like mad cow disease.
Right. He's a real prick.
He's a real son of a bitch.
This was just one of those cases where at the end when he matches the finger... Oh, no, he doesn't. Sorry, he matches the fingerprint of the dead guy, and then he's like, but he had an accomplice, and he like names the assistant.
Yeah.
And at this point, all she really has to do is
deny
say,
it, yeah.
No. But she takes out like a gun, and she's like, you'll never get me.
Yeah.
And it's just
You'll
like,
never take me alive,
just,
coppers!
yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
well, there's your problem, lady.
Well, yeah, like if you hadn't like melted down in court, like you probably would have got away with it.
Probably he would have done that, and then she would have been like, if she had just been like, I don't understand what this fingerprinting is, this sounds like bullshit, the court might be like, yeah, you're kind of right. We don't know what this fingerprinting is.
This is kind of cockamamie.
Yeah. Like it's just Brisco just controlling the room.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really
It was totally Matlock. Brisco County Jr. was excellent.
It was extremely Matlock.
It was so good.
Any more thoughts on this one?
Not really.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
That's fair. I had a lot of notes for this one because I was very excited about it.
You're just excited about courtroom drama.
Yeah, you know how I love it.
Yeah, it's extremely your shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch A Few Good Men after this.
Do it. It's an excellent film.
I can handle the truth. Showdown is the next episode.
Showdown.
I only took one note for this.
Is it John Hawkes?
Oh right, John Hawkes is in
Because
this.
John Hawkes, Academy Award nominee John Hawkes is in this goddamn episode.
Deadwood.
From Deadwood, yeah. This episode, Brisco goes back to his hometown because his high school sweetheart, her dad's the sheriff now, and he's turned into a big ass drunk because he was with Brisco's dad when Brisco's dad was killed, and he wasn't able to save him.
Right. This is all about the drunk guy.
Yeah, he is a rumbling, bumbling, stumbling drunk.
Oh yeah.
Like this guy plays drunk
yeah.
very well. He doesn't do it in a cartoonish way. He does it in a very sad way.
Yeah, he's fucking Calamity Jane. Or
yeah, exactly.
It's great. The big thing I remember is that they really spend a lot of time building up the villain, and then he just sucks. Like
he does.
Brisco just shoots him in the hand, and it's just like womp womp.
He shoots
him in the gun.
The gun explodes in his hand.
Yeah,
it's pretty fucking bitchin'.
It is pretty
when
great.
It happens.
This is the only criticism I have with this show, and this is more of a product of the 90s. It's one of those things where, and I don't think this is what it was, but it reminds me of when like someone like Van Damme or like Stallone does an action movie, and it's like in their contract that they have to be cool the whole time.
That's a Seagal thing.
Oh yeah, a Seagal thing where it's the hero is basically Bugs Bunny, where just every interaction ends, or like a Sherlock Holmes thing where ends with them being like, I always had the upper hand, and it's like, okay, well it's boring then. Yeah. Like if the hero is just always Bugs Bunnying his way out of things, and Brisco kind of has that where it's like at the end of the day he's always like, aha, I am the smartest. Mm-hmm. There's a few I liked. That's why I like that Bowler is a really good tracker, that they started to balance it where it's like Brisco isn't fucking amazing at everything. Let's not make him let's not do that.
He needs to have some.
Yeah, because it's boring.
I want to stand up for Van Damme. Van Damme actually gets beaten up in his movies.
You're right, but
Stallone
you know,
does, too.
I was generalizing.
Right. Yeah. I want you to hang that cone of shame right on Seagal's head where it belongs.
Sure. But this was a case of that where like the whole time it's just like, oh no, how is he going to face this?
What's it? Johnny Utah Montana or something?
Yeah, it was fucking ridiculous.
And then they made a joke about John Cougar Mellencamp.
Did they?
So what happens is it's this family of shitbags who are basically running the town. Now the sheriff's a drunk. Brisco shows up, and the mayor immediately puts him in charge as sheriff, which was a good decision.
That was a good call.
Good decision. Even though it's embarrassing and for the guy that's the father of his dad's old partner and the father of his high school sweetheart, it's embarrassing for him. The episode's kind of about this guy's redemption. So the family, they're called the Brackens, I think. They go off to hire a gunslinger to come into town and kill Brisco, and it's this guy Johnny Utah Montana, who doesn't speak.
No, and he has a hype man.
He has a hype. John Hawkes plays his hype man.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most bizarre performances I've ever seen John Hawkes do. It is an anti-John Hawkes character.
It's John Hawkes before he gets to be John Hawkes.
Right. But like he plays a lot of different kinds of characters in his defense.
Yeah.
But like when I knew what you think him being in a Western show, you kind of want to either expect like Deadwood or like his character from Winter's Bone.
Right.
And he's super not either of those things.
No,
He's like this weird hype man. He's like Flavor Flav. With a lisp.
Yes.
And he says it used to be Johnny Utah Cougar Montana, but we dropped the Cougar because it sounded pretentious.
That's cute.
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and so he ends up Brisco ends up firing a bullet into his
Well, we
gun.
see the guy be awesome in that scene because another guy is challenging him for the room, and he shoots the gun. Like he's like, all right, you can point the gun right at Johnny Utah. And as soon as he sees your finger twitch, that's when he'll draw. So the other guy already has his gun out pointing at Johnny.
Right.
And like he's able to draw his gun so fast, just blast the gun out of that guy's hand. So we really think this guy's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And then he's immediately not. And then Bowler, who has talked him up, was like, nah, I was just kidding. I was just keeping you on your toes.
Yeah. I was just,
And it's like, but he really was. So that means that like Brisco is so good that guy, even Bowler, was just oh no, he can take that guy.
It was weird because the only other gunfight we saw Brisco in
he
was outsmarted them. Yeah. So I was expecting something like that, but it's just no, he just fucking outdraws this guy.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like the show up to this point has given us no reason to believe that Brisco is especially good at shooting.
No, or if he hasn't even been that great of a brawler. He's very Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
In that regard, which is great.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the Pirates episode seeing Bruce Campbell hold a sword made me very happy.
Gets to do a sword fight with Pirate Cat with the Wishmaster.
Yeah, that's great. That's gold. That's pirate gold.
It is shiny pirate doubloons.
Yeah, so it was a very jarring development.
It was, like I said, it was totally bitchin'.
Yeah.
When it happens. And they do a funny bit where the Johnny Montana collapses mutely, like holding his hand, but like screaming mutely in pain, and then you can see John Hawkes behind him go like, Johnny, no, and he like deflates and falls on the ground.
Oh yeah,
it's a really good bit.
Like he was like connected psychically.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he like interprets what Johnny is saying even though he's not speaking.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was a interesting character.
Hell of a performance.
Yeah.
John Hawkes.
Yeah, fucking John Hawkes. They would be in Congo together like a year after this.
It's so fucking weird. This is probably where they were like, hey, you trying out for Congo? And like, yeah, I'm trying out for Congo.
I'm trying out for Congo.
It's going to be the biggest hit.
Yeah.
It's a Michael Crichton book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they have the distinction of both they play this basically the same role in Congo. They're both in Congo for about 13 seconds and then they die.
Before they die unceremoniously.
Pretty like ceremoniously.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They die like ridiculously.
They do die ridiculously. John Hawkes screams himself to death.
Yes, he sure does. What a fucking role.
God damn it. We should watch Congo again.
We should watch Congo every day.
It's a regular experience for us.
So good. So good.
What's the what was the coming thing in this episode?
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. They go.
I don't know, man. Who could say?
What the frig?
I don't know. The orb.
Orb's not in this one.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll
get back to it. We'll come back to it.
Don't remember.
It's
There's
all
a pretty sweet stampede scene.
There is.
That's one thing I did want to point out is they keep one-upping themselves in terms of traps or like adventure serial predicaments to put Brisco in.
Oh, for sure.
They always come up with like creative ways. So they lasso him and his girlfriend in the middle of town to two different posts on the opposite side of the streets, and then just stampede a fucking 100 cattle through the middle.
It's also, I think, isn't this the second stampede he's dealt with?
Not to my
I thought
memory.
the mad cows in the last one or something. There was another stampede, or maybe it's coming up. I could have sworn I saw a bunch of cows running. It wasn't.
That's this episode.
Okay, maybe, yeah. Maybe my brain stroked.
Yeah, you may have had a stroke. I don't.
All right.
No more cows.
Next episode, Deep in the Heart of Dixie. This is
the one with David Warner.
You're right. It is
David Warner
Holy shit.
as the British assassin, Mr. Smile.
Oh my god!
Holy shit!
This is the one where they also invent the radio. Brisco invents the radio.
They invent the radio, and then they also invent Watergate.
Yes, they invent Watergate
They invent
at the
the
end.
Watergate scandal.
This is when the coming thing starts getting really fucking weird. When he starts being like, "Well, I imagine one day we'll record a president."
Yeah, we should stick these in the Oval Office to keep the presidents honest.
Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck, Brisco? You're getting oddly specific.
Yeah, that's hyper specific.
Yeah. It starts with the invention of a talking machine. And immediately Briscoe's like, well, I imagine people can listen to their favorite songs.
It's a dictaphone. Yeah, I think
they call it a talking machine.
Yeah,
it's a talking
think
machine.
they existed at this point.
Yeah.
Because they record onto wax cylinders, and I thought we had like gramophones and shit at this point.
This is also
or
a Dixie
wax cylinder
episode.
recordings. Yeah, Dixie comes back.
This is actually my first time I noticed a historical inaccuracy, because I had just been writing about it recently. Dixie says, if every time a man said that I'd be... I forget what she's saying this to. Brisco says something to her. What?
He says, trust me.
Oh, and she says, and every time a man says this, I'd be living in Fort Knox. This takes place in like the 1890s.
1899.
I looked it up. 1899. Fort Knox wasn't a fort until the 1930s.
Or 1893. I think it might be
1893, yes, because I looked it up for the motorcycles, which, accurate.
Sure.
Spoilers. I was surprised by that. But Fort Knox wasn't even, it was barely a settlement when she says this.
Yeah.
So that's some bullshit, Brisco. Fort Knox didn't have any
most,
gold in it.
The most historical inaccuracies I've noticed, I mean, there are anachronisms in there, like in terms of how they speak.
It's just how they speak.
Like a lot of the times they claim to be like inventing things that I'm 99% certain already existed at that point.
Yeah, I don't want to jump ahead, but the motorcycle one impressed me because I was like, immediately was like, bullshit. And then I Googled it and I was like, huh.
Oh, shit.
This is actually pretty,
No, I think the first automobile showed up pretty shortly around this time.
Well, they make, I don't want to skip ahead, they make the guy driving the motorcycle German because it was a German invention around that exact time.
That makes sense.
There was only 100 of them apparently at the time. Like,
that
it's legit.
I mean, that
like,
explains why they're hyper valuable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some motherfucker writer went to the library that week and was like, I have a good idea.
Yeah. That guy really, that person really earned their paycheck.
Yeah. But this one is
okay, so yeah, what happens is a Civil War general is running for president. He gets recorded making a deal with John Bly, and Dixie heard the recording. So they're trying to get her to testify, but she goes into hiding. So Brisco is going to find her, and then Bowler separately gets hired by the government, by the U.S. Attorney's Office, to go bring Dixie in.
I really appreciated Bowler being like, look, we're friends and all, but I'm going to fucking compete for this. Like, he was competitive in this one. This was another Comet moment where this is when he's on the train and Comet's riding along like a Red Dead Redemption horse. Yeah, this was kind of a forgettable episode.
David Warner.
David Warner was good.
And they had the bit about. I mean, he's great in this episode, and they build up this. He does a trick that like messes with your sense of smell, so you can't smell this poison that he uses.
Oh yeah, that was good.
And he poisons the balls out of one of his men.
Yeah, he sure does.
And he's like, "That's what you get for trying to eat before your host." It's not the best David Warner impression, but
yeah, this is short notice.
Short notice.
I really liked at one point they're just like nuns fighting people.
They are, because Dixie has hidden the wax recording in a monastery.
Right. And it's something that I didn't think I would laugh at, but Bowler fucking punching a guy dressed as a nun.
Yeah.
And there's like a moment, and Briscoe's like, "That's what I call a bad habit." And he's just like, "Oh, shut up." And that really tickled me. It's a bad dad joke,
man.
but I think it was just the Bruce Campbell delivery, and then the immediate like, "Shut up, Briscoe."
In the previous episode, the showdown, when they're getting ready to fight the Brackens, he looks at his girlfriend Annie and says, "Annie, get your gun."
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Oh,
yeah."
he
There's
did
a
the
lot.
thing."
That was another request from Aaron Burr, the grown-worthy stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like at this point, it is and it isn't grown-worthy because it's like
The show has firmly established its tone by this
exactly.
point.
So it's like if you're not on board, then
yeah.
fucking
We pointed out. I pointed out the John Cougar Mellencamp joke.
right. Yeah,
We've been
yeah,
hitting
that's
them.
true.
We've been hitting
We've
the
been
hits.
hitting them. Yeah. So like, yeah, the writers are having fun. They're having fun with these goddamn puns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bad Habit really got me. It shouldn't have, but it got me.
It did.
Yeah.
But it did.
I tried to avoid it. It was too slow.
The reason they disguise themselves as nuns is that Bowler refuses to allow Briscoe to draw his gun in a church.
Oh yeah, that was a good development.
Well, and it relates to the character stuff we learned about him.
Yeah.
His mom would always take him to church twice every Sunday.
They're being consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fine episode.
They do a fucking wild thing where David Warner is basically going to rip Briscoe in half with a train.
Oh, that was great. And then he ends up dragging his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. There's some decent moments.
There's some cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
There's a fucking bitchin' explosion. They blow up their home base.
Oh yeah.
They blow up the base of the guy, the people in San Francisco that are hiring Briscoe to bring in John Bly.
It feels like at this point they're getting an explosion budget. No, they sort of had
there was
one
another
before.
there was another explosion in the Matlock episode. Remember, somebody throws dynamite into the jail cell while he's talking to.
You're right.
Yeah,
That would fucking kill them. Wait, is that no? I'm thinking of the different. Is that the one where they throw dynamite and they have to use Comet? To, yeah.
Comet has to pull out the bars
That's a
and
mighty
the windows.
fucking horse right there.
Yes.
I don't
Comet
think,
yanks him and Bowler out of the quicksand when Captain LeCutte tries to drown him.
Comet's really.
Comet's getting shit done.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh. It's a shame because Comet is. I think they credit it as Comet or as a single horse.
But it's like a bunch of different horses.
Yeah, and that's give the team credit. Give the horse team credit.
Oh,
for
all
being,
those horses are dead.
Yeah, that's true.
What else happens in this episode? David Warner is exploded in said bitchin' explosion.
There's a lot of villains exploding.
Yeah,
It's all indirect deaths. You can't
Yeah.
just show someone get gut shot and
because they
die for
always
5
try. Yeah, they
minutes.
always try to they end up getting killed because they try to bring Briscoe down with them, and there's nothing
Right.
he can do but run away to save himself.
Right.
David Warner comes in and attaches about 1,000 sticks of dynamite to this cuckoo clock. And then gives himself away, like he's setting the timer, and he goes like cuckoo, and him and Bowler hear it in the next room. Or no,
Why
it's not
did
him
they
and Bowler.
put it on
It's
the
him and
clock?
Socrates. Bowler's out front.
Oh yeah, Socrates doesn't he almost get fucked in this
He
one?
does get fucked, but it's by this lady.
It's evil, right?
She's evil, yeah.
Yeah.
She's working with David Warner, and when they get Dixie to safety in the building, she tries to poison her, but they do it wrong and she smells the poison.
Right,
So
okay.
they pay off that poison smelling bit.
Not bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. All right, you want to move on to the next one? Episode
Yeah, I think
12?
so. I'm trying to remember if anything else happens.
Okay. This is one I feel like I need to rewatch it because I'm wondering if I was distracted or something because I'm remembering a lot of this, but this one didn't stick in my mind, which is
Yeah, David Warner was all over this bitch.
yeah, it's a shame because David Warner was all over this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking David Warner.
And the coming thing, obviously, is we talked about that.
And Nixon.
They talk about, look, somebody should stick these recording devices into the White House.
This is what the coming thing is. It was getting less like literal, like technology, and it was like predicting society.
It was like
or
conceptual things.
Yeah.
Like when you say Brisco predicted the radio, he was like, well, yeah, this would be a great thing. Like you'd be able to listen to your favorite song whenever you wanted to. And they look at him like he's a fucking demon.
Yeah.
And they're like, who would want to do that?
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's like that's the literal reason they invented it.
Yeah, and he'll be like, someday we'll invent rooms that everybody can listen and dance to the songs together, and they'll take little pills that'll make them feel
he
really
invents
good.
ecstasy.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Brisco already invented ecstasy. Look at the man.
He's delivering it every week.
Bruce Campbell. Next one is Crystal Hawks. I really enjoyed this one.
Oh, with Sheena Easton?
Yeah. We introduced to the character Crystal Hawks.
Yeah, played by Sheena Easton.
Yeah. Did they mention, did they mention Deadwood at the beginning of this episode?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Because they never go to it, and I was bummed. Because
they
say
mentioned
that
somebody's going to
Deadwood.
Yeah,
and I was just like, oh, they're going to Deadwood, and then they don't.
And they don't go to Deadwood.
I want Al Swearingen.
Want Al Swearingen in this universe?
Yeah, it could happen.
He just gets Dan Doherty to stab Brisco to death.
Yeah.
It's just and throw him off a mountain.
It'd be such an ending. What an ending. He finds the orb and he's like, what the fuck is this shit? Just keeps it under his desk.
He gets superpowers.
That would be something.
Oh man.
Shit. This is Bruce Campbell. Brisco is wanted. Right?
Yeah, he's wanted for murder, but it's actually Big Smith, MC Gainey, who you thought died in the pilot, but he's back, and he's been imbued with the power of the orb.
Yes, and he's like redeemed himself.
He's like a monk now.
Yeah, the idea he apologizes to Brisco. He's like, "I'm sorry for killing your father."
Yeah.
And then he like sort of helps, and he's like, "Your destiny is with the orb and shit," because he's been like enlightened by the orb somehow.
Yeah, and that's when he tells us that the orb came from the future.
Yeah, which I assumed.
I think it's also aliens.
Okay, I just assumed because of the futurist stuff that this is a time traveling orb. Like, it's a time machine.
And we also learned there's more than one.
Yes,
there's two orbs.
There's like two. Weren't there like 3 or 5 at one point?
They say however many, but there's only 2 left.
Yeah, and there's only 2 left.
Yeah.
Yeah, this goes back to I'm really hoping Brisco, the series finale, is he briefly goes into the future and learns that he's right about everything.
Everything.
And he comes back and he's just like, guess what I saw? Let me tell you about this Nixon guy. Called it.
That's what I saw. Pills that make your dick hard.
Yeah. This is so he gets taken by Crystal Hawks, and basically it's Bruce Campbell as her prisoner.
Yeah, she's a bounty hunter.
Yeah, she's a bounty hunter, and he ends up teaming up with her to it's an orb episode to fight.
Yeah, to stop John Bly from stealing the orb.
This is also, there might have been previous episodes, but I got chills the moment Bruce Campbell picked up a shotgun.
He does.
Yeah, he points a shotgun at the camera, and I was just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, now
Give
it's
me that,
time.
Bruce. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a shotgun up until this point.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets a chainsaw, it's all over.
Oh, yeah. God, I hope that happens.
They might, I don't know.
I haven't caught any Evil Dead references yet.
No, I don't think they were doing it because it wasn't a thing, really.
I was going to say, it's too early to do Evil Dead references.
Yeah, it hadn't quite.
I'm waiting for fucking, like, Ted Raimi to show up, and I keep remembering, like, oh, wait, no, this is...
It's not.
Ted was calling him, like, can I get a role? And he's like, look, it's not like that.
It's not like that's not your brothers aren't producing it. I can't. Yeah.
I'll ask him. I'll float it, but
yeah.
What do I have as notes? Oh, this was another. I mean, it's clearly they didn't get it from this, but Brisco has to get on a scrawny nag, and he hates it.
He does.
He's like, it's fucking Red Dead
It's
Redemption.
Red Dead. He's like screaming at this nag.
Yeah, he doesn't have his fucking Comet horse that he custom made. And won't respawn.
He spent all that money on it.
Yeah.
Bought horse insurance for Comet.
Yeah. This is also, I don't know if this is true. There's a TNG episode, Time's Arrow, and Data goes back in time to Mark Twain. And I think this might be the same set when he goes into the big city areas. But I'm not certain. I feel like was Star Trek? No, Star Trek CBS. So probably not the same lot, although they might have used.
I don't know. They could have used the same lot.
But it just looked very like that old-timey city set that
it would have been around the same time.
Yeah, that I feel like they would just have in the 90s, and why would there be two built? And so I could see this being Time's Arrow set. What else happened in this? Is this just an Orb episode?
It's just an Orb episode, yeah.
All right. I guess what was the coming thing?
Coming thing? I don't remember.
Let's see if I wrote anything down. No, I think the Orb episodes are less coming thing oriented.
Right, because it's more about
just getting through the plot
and the weird science fiction-y stuff.
Because the next one and the final one for us to discuss today is coming all over the place. It's a real coming thing.
It's a real coming thing.
It is called. Do you have any other notes for the last one?
Well, just MC Gainey, Big Smith helps them defeat John Bly, and John Bly actually gets arrested in this one.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
But then we learn like a very somber Socrates has to come in and tell Brisco that the carriage taking Bly to jail overturned, and he escaped with the orb, and he killed Big Smith in the process.
Yeah, they take it all away.
Yeah.
Which I suspect Big Smith isn't dead because he keeps coming back.
He might, I don't know. Peach certainly does.
That felt really fucking weird to me because it felt like they were hitting like a season finale type thing where it's like he's been arrested and they're like, never mind, he's not.
He's not arrested.
And so I was wondering like what the hell is the purpose of that? But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The next one was Steel Horses.
Steel horses.
Horses. This is
motorcycles.
Named after the coming thing, which is motorcycles.
Motorcycles. And also Bowler invents television in this.
When does he invent television?
Well,
I know they invent police interrogations in this.
Yeah, they invent two-way glass, and
they invent good cop, bad cop.
They do. Yeah, the two German mechanics from No Man's Land that the professor was just gonna get broken in half by.
Yes,
he brings them in to interrogate this German guy. That one member of the Bly gang steals the motorcycles.
Yes, there's motorcycles, which as I was saying before, is historically accurate. Mm-hmm. That motorcycles existed. There were not many of them, and they looked more or less how they do in this episode. So good job, Brisco.
Yeah, this is pretty solid.
Yeah.
So they're trying to interrogate this German guy to figure out where the motorcycles are.
Yeah.
And they're watching through two-way glass as
the inventor is like pretty impressive, right? It's glass, but you can't see through one direction of it. And
and they're watching while the one German lady mechanic is seducing the German guy, and they're all just watching intently. And Bowler says, "Man, I would love to we should just have these in every house, and you can just turn it on and watch stuff like this all the time."
Wow, good job, Bowler.
And then he says, like, "Did I just do a coming thing?" And then Brisco goes like, "Yeah, it's pretty fun, isn't it?"
That's great.
Yeah. So Bowler invents television.
They would have had. I think it would have been a better gag if he was like, "Did I just do a coming thing?" And he was like, "No, that's a dumb idea. That's ridiculous."
And they all look at the camera.
Yeah. That's great.
You couldn't see me. I just pulled a hilarious face.
Yeah, I just love that they invented gritty police interrogations.
Yeah, because then they sent in the other German mechanic who just beats the shit out of him.
Yeah. It's weird.
Great.
And then I want the scientist guy to be like, and now I'm going to call you a renegade and say you're off my team.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you to hand in your badge and gun.
It's this little thing I've come up with.
And then they simultaneously invent that, and they also invent the Lorenzo Lamas show Renegade.
Yes. I want them to start inventing specific
Very
shows.
specific things. One of them invents Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
I want this to end with them inventing the Fox network. Oh man. Yeah, this is fucking a motorcycle gang.
Yeah.
And it's a big Comet arc. Comet gets an arc because the whole thing is like, oh, we can never catch
gonna
up
get
with them
replaced.
on horses.
Yeah.
And he keeps whispering like, don't tell Comet he's being replaced. All I can think is like, well, he's like, you're riding him. He probably would be fine with not having to do that anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd enjoy having his time be his own.
Yeah, and like having his family back wherever
like,
that is.
You know, he doesn't know.
But no, Comet's just like, fuck that. I'm gonna, and like at the end, the motorcycle guy gets away and their motorcycle is broken. He's like, we'll never catch up. And Comet's like, yes, we will. And fucking Brisco gets on Comet, and they don't track him down.
They don't catch up to him.
Oh yeah, he just goes flying off a cliff.
He drives his motorcycle off a cliff for no goddamn reason.
He just didn't see it.
I rewound it to watch and confirm. Yes, he just drives his motorcycle off a cliff for no reason.
It was predicting the future of methed out biker gang people.
Yes.
They should have had him scream, "I'm on meth!" Just go straight up.
I smoked these crystals. It's a fucking gnarly ass motorcycle crash too.
They destroy a few motorcycles. Because the premise is that they steal them, and then they're like in town and they're trying to like round them up, and they manage to get the one German guy. Mm-hmm. That's when they interrogate him, and they get a motorcycle, and then their cue is basically like, well, I've fixed this motorcycle up and made it better. And they make a little sidecar for Bowler, who hates motorcycles. And the whole thing is them. That's the underlying theme, too, of them being like, these are death traps.
Yeah.
Which they're not wrong.
No, they're totally right about it. And also, after the guy drives his motorcycle off a cliff, Briscoe's like, well, I can't give a motorcycle a brain.
Yeah. Which is, it's a cute idea, which is horse is superior to motorcycle because horse naturally wants to survive. I would love to drive around on something that just naturally tried to survive.
Or like something that like knows where it's going.
Yeah. That's self-driving cars, man. We're going all the way back around.
Yeah.
I want like a horse. You can fall asleep on a horse.
Yeah, you can't get a DUI on a horse.
Yeah.
Horse knows where it's going.
Yeah. Horse is doing great.
Yeah. The professor also comes up with the term motorcycle.
Right. They say motored cycle at first. That was a groan where he's like, it's some kind of motored cycle. And it was like, all right.
Yeah.
Calm down, Brisco.
Yeah. Settle down, chum.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty bitchin' stunt when that guy flies off the cliff.
And then they accidentally drop dynamite in the sidecar and blow up their
yeah, they sure do.
motorcycle, which is also a cool explosion.
Yeah, they started getting some money here.
Yeah.
They really wreck stuff.
They're like, we want to blow up a motorcycle. And Fox was like, all
Can
right.
we blow up two?
Yeah. Here's some extra. Blow up two.
Yeah. Well, the other one actually doesn't explode. It just crashes spectacularly down the side of a mountain.
Yeah. This was one of those episodes where it's like, I would love to introduce someone to this by showing them like the motorcycle scenes and being like, would you believe this is a Western? And then be like, would you believe that it's a period accurate Western? Like they did something insane.
Would you believe that a major plot point centers around a piece of alien technology?
Yeah. But this is a totally like this could have happened in the West, technically speaking.
Sure.
Germans could have brought motorcycles to the West, and they could have made a biker gang robbing banks. Like that could have happened at this era in time.
This could have happened.
And Brisco was like, that could happen. It's gonna happen in Brisco County. Like
in Brisco town.
This made me really happy because it was just like, God bless this series for thinking what's the limits? Like, can we hit, what's the absolute craziest shit we can do within this goddamn Western era? And they're doing it.
They're doing it. They're going to do it for 14 more episodes.
Yeah, and we're going to
watch them all.
We're going to watch them all.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So that's the end of this sode.
Yeah, it definitely is. Aaron
Burr, sir, thank you for launching this ship.
Yeah. Thanks for getting us into Brisco County.
And thank you. Thank you for being such a dedicated, awesome supporter.
Yeah, man. Thanks for supporting us.
And thanks to
everybody, thank Aaron Burr.
All
Let's
you
get
guys
a round of
listening.
Applause. Round of applause.
Clap for Aaron Burr.
Keep clapping.
The murderer of Alexander Hamilton. Now you can clap for Aaron Burr, sir, our
Yes.
actual patron.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's an episode.
I think that's an episode.
I guess this is, Aaron Burr is only going to be listening to this, but he's released it publicly. So we can say if you also want to have a podcast made just for you, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. There's all sorts of cool stuff, exclusive podcasts, but that's not what this is about.
No, this is about Aaron Burr, sir, and his love of the adventures of Brisco County Jr. and inflicting his love on other people.
Yes.
Inflicting.
Now, stay tuned for scenes from next week's Brisco County Jr.